You sit down at your desk, you open your laptop.
Yeah, the usual morning routine.
Right. And immediately, 40 different browser tabs are staring right back at you.
Just pure digital noise.
We've all accepted this scattered chaos as normal. We treat it as just how work gets done.
But it really doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't. What if the very concept of the browser tab is dying? Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're exploring a fundamental shift in computing.
Yeah, we're moving away from organizing our minds around applications. We are moving toward a world driven by intention.
It's a massive structural transition.
Absolutely. We're going to unpack AI agent workflows today. We'll look closely at emerging super apps at Codex. We'll explore user interfaces that literally build themselves on the fly.
Right.
And finally, we'll break down a highly practical framework. This will help you prepare your daily routine for this exact shift.
I think the core issue begins with how broken our current setup really is.
Yeah.
We organize our modern work entirely around software tools. You open a web browser. You launch a word processor. You boot up an email client. The constraints of those tools dictate our behavior.
But human intention simply doesn't work that way. You don't sit down with the pure desire to use a web browser.
Right.
You sit down because you need to write a weekly newsletter. The focus is on the outcome, not the medium.
Exactly. And writing a newsletter is a surprisingly complex cognitive task.
Oh, yeah.
It requires pulling deep research from various sources. It requires drafting text in a clean space.
Yeah.
It often involves checking social media for current industry trends.
So you end up opening one tab just for your rough notes. You open another separate tab for your actual draft document. You pull up 3 more tabs for competitor research. Maybe you have X open in the background to monitor breaking news.
Every single time you switch between those tabs, you pay a cognitive penalty.
You really do.
Your brain has to unload the context of the spreadsheet. It then has to load the context of the social feed. By the end of the week, the chaos multiplies.
Yeah, you have 40 tabs scattered across multiple windows. Your focus is completely fractured.
And this scattered information creates a massive barrier for artificial intelligence, too.
Absolutely. Models like Claude Code and Codex face this exact same hurdle. The details they need to assist you are spread across different applications.
Right. The AI can't see the broader picture.
Exactly. It only sees isolated fragments of your workflow.
It is essentially flying blind.
Beat. That brings us to the new management model the tech industry is building. They're proposing something called an AI agent workflow. Simply put, an AI agent workflow is a system organizing your computer work around tasks, not apps.
That shift in architecture requires a completely new environment. The industry refers to this new environment as the task tab.
A task tab?
Yeah. A task tab is a single, unified workspace. It's built entirely around the specific job you're trying to finish. So instead of opening Chrome, you open a space called Write Newsletter.
Right. Inside that one specific space, you have everything the work requires. You have the primary agent thread running on the side. This thread holds all your ongoing context. You have a built-in browser view right there. You have your gathered files and past memories accessible immediately.
All the connected apps sit together in one centralized location.
Exactly.
It's kind of like moving from a messy workbench where your tools are scattered everywhere to a magical toolbox that instantly hands you the exact wrench you need for the exact bolt you're turning. Beat.
I love that analogy. The job leads the way. The required tools simply follow behind. The software conforms entirely to your human intention.
Right.
It doesn't force you to adapt to its rigid menus. And once the specific job is finished, you close that task tab. You walk away with a completely clean slate.
I get the concept of a task tab, but where does it actually live? Does my operating system run this, or is this a new kind of app entirely? So does this mean the app itself becomes invisible?
In many ways, yeah, the traditional boundaries vanish. You stop looking at the rigid borders between different software programs. You stop thinking about manually copying data from one window to paste into another. The software simply becomes an invisible, fluid medium. It is just the space where the agent assists your broader goal.
So we focus strictly on the outcome, not managing the software itself.
Right. And if the application becomes an invisible medium, that puts a massive burden on the environment running it. It needs to be incredibly robust to handle that hidden workflow smoothly.
That underlying robustness is where super apps enter the conversation.
Yeah.
Codex and Claude Code are rapidly evolving into these dominant super apps.
They pack an enormous amount of functionality into one single cohesive window. They feature a deeply integrated built-in browser. They maintain a complete file system. They hold a persistent memory that carries seamlessly across different work sessions.
They even have installable skills you can add, almost like plugins.
Right. Consider a professional content creator working inside one of these platforms.
Okay.
They can research current events using the built-in browser. They can draft their video script directly in a connected Google Doc. They can have the AI agent review the formatting of that script simultaneously. All of this complex orchestration happens without ever leaving the single Codex window.
Or think about someone running targeted online ad campaigns.
Right.
They need to execute deep market research on competitors. They need to write compelling, high-converting ad copy.
They need to constantly reference related files and past campaign histories.
Yeah.
In a super app, everything flows in a single fluid motion. The user never has to switch context or manage multiple windows.
The underlying engine making all this possible is the persistent memory.
Exactly.
These super apps build a highly nuanced memory profile over time. They hold on to your past projects and decisions. They learn your specific writing style preferences.
They observe your daily tool habits. And once they understand those patterns, they begin setting up future tasks automatically. This proactive assistance requires an entirely new kind of software architecture.
Right. We call that architecture an agent-native app. An agent-native app is software built from day one for both humans and AI agents.
Full context is the critical differentiator here.
Yeah.
If developers just slap a simple AI chat button inside a legacy app, it's effectively blind. It only sees what's happening inside that specific narrow application.
It has absolutely no reach beyond those isolated walls.
An agent-native app operates on a fundamentally different level. It stays completely open to your primary operating agent. The visual interface stays remarkably clean. More importantly, the underlying data structures remain incredibly simple and logical.
It's like stacking Lego blocks of data. Everything is uniform and accessible.
Exactly. This allows the AI to see the screen and click buttons perfectly.
I have to say, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself. I get lost trying to feed the AI context, forgetting what I actually sat down to write.
Oh, absolutely. It's an incredibly common frustration. You lose the creative thread because you're busy managing the AI's limited attention span.
Right. You end up managing the machine instead of managing the task.
Yeah. And agent-native design structurally prevents that drift from happening. The necessary context is already established, persistent, and waiting for you.
Are traditional apps going to break when agents try to use them?
They will absolutely struggle to keep up. Think about how a human navigates a complex legacy application. You visually scan the screen for a specific drop-down menu. But an AI agent is essentially reading the underlying HTML code.
If that code is a tangled web of hidden menus or dynamic elements without clear textual labels, the agent is flying blind.
Legacy apps have messy code bases built strictly for human eyes. They rely heavily on visual intuition. They were never designed for machine readers to navigate autonomously.
Right.
Agents will find their complex logic deeply confusing and prone to constant errors.
Basically, legacy apps will feel clunky until they adapt to AI copilots.
Right, and that friction is the baseline reality of our current software transition.
So agent-native apps are the foundational layer moving forward.
Yeah.
But what happens when the exact tool you need for a task doesn't even exist yet?
That is where this technology gets truly fascinating. We are moving beyond static software and entering the realm of generative mini-apps.
The industry uses a specific term for this dynamic concept.
Yeah, Gen UI.
Right. Gen UI is interactive software interfaces built by AI instantly for a specific moment.
Instead of just handing you a dense block of text, the AI builds a functional tool. It generates a custom user interface precisely for your immediate need.
Let's look at a highly specific scenario from our source material. Imagine you simply want to clear out a massive backlog in your email inbox.
In the old paradigm, you'd ask an AI to draft individual replies. It would spit out a static, rigid list of text responses. You would then have to manually copy and paste each one.
With Gen UI, the agent behaves entirely differently. It builds a temporary, highly customized web page right on your screen. This temporary page displays your actual emails right next to the suggested text responses.
It acts like a fully functional dashboard. You review the suggestions, you edit the text directly in the generated fields. You approve and send the emails right from that custom interface.
And once the inbox is clear, the mini app is just gone.
Exactly.
It served its exact temporary purpose, and then it vanished completely.
Another incredible example is Google's Gemini 3 operating in its advanced AI mode. Suppose you need to ask a deeply complex scientific question about RNA polymerase.
A traditional search engine would give you links. A standard chatbot would give you a dense multi-paragraph text summary. But text is linear. Biological processes are dynamic and three-dimensional.
You can't fully grasp a complex folding protein just by reading a paragraph. You really need to see it moving.
Right.
So Gemini doesn't just spit out text. It writes the necessary code and builds an interactive simulation right on your screen.
You can actually see how the biological process unfolds. You can manipulate variables and interact with the simulation inside the same window.
Extensive user research is very clear on this behavioral shift. People strongly prefer these interactive, instantly generated experiences over traditional outputs.
Plain text responses are starting to feel static and outdated.
Yeah.
Generated interfaces feel incredibly alive. They feel immediately actionable and deeply personalized.
This overwhelming user preference is driving very rapid industry adoption. It's exactly why Codex already includes functional plugins for Gmail, Drive, and Slack. It's why Google is aggressively rolling this dynamic feature out. It's currently available for Pro and Ultra subscribers across the US. Whoa, imagine scaling that. An entirely custom, highly complex application spun up in seconds just for a 5-minute task, and then it vanishes into thin air. 2-sec silence.
It fundamentally changes the entire paradigm of how we view personal computing. The interface finally adapts to the human user in real time, rather than the human adapting to the interface. Does this mean the end of traditional software interfaces as we know them?
For many of our daily, repetitive workflow tasks, yes. Why would you manually navigate a complex, rigid dashboard if the AI can instantly build a simple one just for you?
Right.
Static traditional interfaces will certainly remain necessary for deep, core infrastructure, but daily workflow interfaces will rapidly become entirely fluid and dynamically generated.
Right, the interface becomes a fluid conversation rather than a static dashboard.
Beat.
Sponsor. Placeholder for mid-roll sponsor, read to be inserted here. We're back. We just finished talking about magical, vanishing user interfaces. We explored how these massive super apps are rolling out to the public right now.
Yeah, the technological landscape is shifting incredibly rapidly beneath our feet. The tools are evolving faster than our traditional working habits.
With all these profound changes happening so quickly, how do you and I actually prepare? How do we adapt our current daily routines to be ready for this shift today?
We have to look closely at the enterprise data to understand the urgency. A recent Gartner prediction serves as a very serious wake-up call for the industry.
Gartner predicts that 40% of enterprise apps will include task-specific AI agents by the end of 2026.
That is a massive, unprecedented jump in adoption. It's up from less than 5% in 2025. This autonomous future is arriving very quickly, and we need a framework to handle it.
To prepare effectively, we actually need to take some very low-tech foundational steps. Preparation doesn't start with buying new software.
No, it starts with basic structural organization. Step 1 is simply organizing your professional life by discrete tasks.
Right.
You need to sit down and physically write out your weekly repeatable work.
Writing the company newsletters, analyzing weekly customer feedback reports, prepping outlines for YouTube videos, reviewing sponsor emails. You just need to get the entire workflow out of your head and onto paper.
Once you can clearly see the overall shape of your week, you move to step 2. You must turn those repeatable tasks into simple, standard operating procedures.
You create detailed SOPs. You have to treat your complex daily work exactly like a baking recipe.
You explicitly define the specific goal of the task. You list the raw inputs needed to start. You name the exact software tools you intend to use. You outline the step-by-step process chronologically. Finally, you describe what the perfect final output should look like.
You also add a quick, definitive review checklist at the very end.
Right.
This precise structure gives the AI agent a very clear, unambiguous playbook to follow.
Massive, highly efficient teams already work exactly this way. Internal teams at Amazon have built thousands of specific SOPs just to guide their internal AI agents.
AWS actually released their Strands Agent SOPs formatting structure. They made it completely open source for anyone in the public to use.
Yeah.
If that rigorous structure works at an enterprise Amazon scale, it absolutely works for solo creators too.
Step 3 involves creating what the industry calls context packets. This concept is absolutely vital if you want highly personalized AI outputs.
Let's make sure the jargon is perfectly clear. A context packet is a document showing your AI how you think, write, and work.
Anthropic provides some excellent specific guidance on how to build these packets effectively. They strongly emphasize that you should lean heavily on actual examples of your past successful work.
You can't just write long, abstract lists of arbitrary rules.
No.
If I tell an AI to write a professional but friendly email, my specific idea of that tone might be completely different from yours.
Exactly.
We have to actively show the AI what your version of success looks like.
Concrete examples act like vivid, high-resolution pictures for an AI model. Providing 5 strong examples maps out the precise style you want. It anchors the probabilistic model to your specific brand voice and formatting quirks much better than any theoretical instruction could.
Step 4 is arguably the most crucial layer of safety in this entire framework. You absolutely must keep human reviews securely in the loop.
Let the autonomous agent do the heavy, tedious lifting. Let the machine draft the initial text.
Right.
Let it organize the messy spreadsheets. Let it handle all the time-consuming prep work.
But human beings must always make the final, critical judgment calls. Humans must press the final publish button.
Absolutely.
Humans must be the ones making the big, consequential business decisions.
The entire technology industry is actively standardizing around this exact safety pattern. OpenAI explicitly built their new agent's SDK with this human-in-the-loop requirement clearly in mind.
The SDK actually pauses an autonomous agent whenever it attempts a significant tool call. It waits patiently for explicit, manual human approval before taking any irreversible action.
Global regulation is also heavily enforcing this safety standard. The EU AI Act explicitly requires demonstrable human oversight for any high-risk AI systems deployed in the market.
It feels slightly counterintuitive. To get the most out of wildly advanced, futuristic AI, we have to become almost rigidly organized with old-school, written standard operating procedures.
It is a genuinely fascinating paradox. These machine learning models are incredibly powerful, but they fundamentally lack human intuition.
Right.
They're essentially probabilistic guessing engines. They will wander aimlessly without firm boundaries. They desperately need a clear, rigid track to run on.
The human-written SOP provides that necessary track. If the AI is doing the majority of the actual work, aren't we just becoming managers of machines?
Essentially, yes. The fundamental nature of human labor is shifting dramatically right now. We're moving away from manual, ground-level creation and moving toward high-level strategic curation. You are the one setting the broader vision.
The digital agent executes the granular, repetitive steps.
Exactly, and you step back in to verify and approve the final result.
We trade the busy work of typing for the higher-level work of judging.
Right, and understanding that trade-off perfectly captures the overarching narrative we're discussing today.
The entire paradigm of personal computing is shifting completely beneath us. We are moving away from organizing our minds around the specific tools we use.
We will no longer be managing static, isolated applications. We will no longer be juggling dozens of disconnected browser tabs just to finish one project.
We're now organizing our digital environments strictly around the specific outcomes we want. We can focus our cognitive energy entirely on the task itself.
By taking the time to build clear SOPs today, you are doing vital foundational work. By creating detailed context packets right now, you're laying a critical groundwork. You are essentially training your future digital counterpart before it even fully arrives.
The necessary preparation is surprisingly simple, but the long-term implications are incredibly profound.
Yeah.
You are systematically building an architecture that scales your own mind.
It dramatically scales your productive capabilities without demanding that you scale your active working hours.
Which leaves us with a fascinating and maybe slightly uncomfortable thought to sit with as we wrap up. If your AI agent has your highly detailed SOPs, your specific context packets, and an interactive workspace built just for you, what happens the day the agent executes your workflow slightly better than you do? At what point do you become the one learning from the agent? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We will see you next time. Outro music.